My name is David Choe, and I am in Bolivia House Church, shepherded by our lovely shepherds, Jeremiah and Mirili. Oh. Anyways, so it's a privilege to share, my deputy shepherd's testimony, and I'm just so thankful for this opportunity because I get to share just how good God has been to me and how He has loved me so abundantly through my shepherds and my house church family over these years. But honestly, this realization didn't come overnight. It came, many, many years. But just to give a quick background of myself, for those that have known me over the years, y'all know that I'm a very, very huge introvert, almost a hermit in a way that chooses to basically live in isolation in my own house, away from social gatherings, because that gives me a lot of social anxieties. But at the same time, I was a huge introvert, and I was a huge hermit, and I say that in past tense, in foreshadow of just the miraculous transformation that I was able to experience through God, all because of house church. I grew up in a Christian family, growing up in a house church setting as well, in Seoul Baptist Church next door. And I gave my life to Christ in 8th grade, but at the same time, I never really grew intimately in my relationship with Christ. So with that coming in, I was basically still the same state after graduating from University of Texas at Austin back in 2013. And I joined my first house church with Danny and Sandy leading as shepherds. And since then, we've gone through 3 multiplications. First with Danny and Sandy, next with Ryan and Judy, and Jeremiah and Crystal, and then now it's Jeremiah married to his lovely wife, Miri. And I'm pretty sure there are many, many good moments over those past house churches that I've been involved in. But to be honest, I can't remember those moments because they were overshadowed by my years of just hyper-focusing on my own mental struggles, of struggling to connecting with people. And this was not because of what the house church families did to me, but it was something that I was personally just going through during those years. And over time, it didn't get better. Over time, that struggle accentuated to the feeling of feeling more lonely. All of a sudden, being disappointed in other people as well too. And at the same time, feeling very inadequate, wondering, why am I so socially awkward with people? Why don't I get some social cues? Why do I feel so stupid in certain ways? And eventually coming to the point where I just felt I'm what's wrong with me? Building up that self-hatred over the years. And I would have these thoughts of negativity spiraling out of control many times throughout the year. That feeling of being claustrophobic in your own thoughts. But I still continue to come to house church, hoping something would change. Hoping God would provide some supernatural healing in the way I was thinking. But that hope didn't last long. And after 5 years being at house church, 2018, that's when I basically made an ultimatum early in that year to leave my house church, leave New Life for good by the end of that year. And deep inside, as I was contemplating these things, I knew it wasn't a good idea for me. But I just really couldn't shake off that feeling that I was just being a huge burden to my house church, that they would be completely fine without me. Me being there, creating that moments of awkward silence. And also at the same time wondering, why come to house church when I feel just as lonely and insignificant in my existence? And surprisingly, by God's grace, at the end of that year, I just remember going to an event, and I think it was a singles retreat event if I can recollect correctly. But from that retreat, Pastor Eric, asked all the members to place their hands on their respective shepherds and pray over them for their, for their sacrifice, for their sheep. And as I was praying to my shepherd at that time, Jeremiah and Crystal, I started to reflect at that moment how my shepherd was struggling so much, at dental school, but never really blamed us for all those years of struggling. Always continued to hang out with us with such joy. How he was always available to give us rides, and with that smile that always brings light, like a sunshine. How he was always reaching out to me whenever I wanted to isolate myself away from people, especially after church service. I just wanted to go home, not hang out. But he would always just be there, reaching out to me, like, "Hey, let's have lunch together." How he was very gentle and kind with his words and speaking the truth. How he loved me for who I was, accepting me, even if I wasn't able to love myself in that similar capacity. And I thank God at that moment, as I was praying, for providing me in my life such a loving shepherd. And then I thank God for caring about me, loving me so much through my shepherd. And at that moment, I started crying, because that was when everything clicked and everything started making sense now. That this whole time, God was using my shepherd through the power of the Holy Spirit to show me how much he loves me and how he has been pursuing after me all these years, even though I was very selfish in my own isolation and my own thoughts. And that's when my perspective started to shift, outside of my own self and more of God's. And it felt like there was meaning in my existence from then on. And looking back now, I don't know where I'll be, to be honest, without house church. God has shown so much mercy, grace to me through my house church members who have for over 5 years reached out to me, unconditionally loved me, and consistently shown patience with a very gentle spirit that I wholeheartedly recognize to be a truest reflection of Jesus Christ's love through the power of the Holy Spirit. Yeah, and from that, just want to say thank you to all my current shepherds, past shepherds, for all those years of loving me, accepting me. And I thank all the house church members throughout those years as well, also doing the same thing to me too. Even though I wasn't able to recognize it, still pursuing after me. And to my new house church members, I'm just so excited to be able to embark on this new journey with all of y'all. It's truly a moment of celebration, and with that, I know that God has always been good, and I know that He will always continue to, that goodness will always continue to follow us, that love will always continue to follow us through the end of our days. And now it is my joy to commit to the following. First one is to pursue after the Lord daily by spending time in the Word and in prayer. And also to be able to lift every one of y'all's prayer requests by name every day, such that God's presence, God's touch will be with y'all throughout the day. Yeah, so I want to say thank you once again.